Zero-turn mowers are basically the fast and furious of the lawn world, I'd reckon. Think about it. They are fast, ridiculously maneuverable, and with those two lap bars in your hands, you can whip around a tree so smoothly that you start wondering whether Vin Diesel secretly owns a landscaping company. And unlike your traditional riding mower, which can spend half its life performing a 3-point Y-turn every time it meets a tree, a zero-turn can pivot around its own center and keep moving. But that speed and maneuverability are not just party tricks. They come from a completely different drive system underneath the mower. And if you do not understand how that system works, you might accidentally turn one of the most impressive machines in your garage into a very expensive lawn ornament. So, there's a reason zero-turn mowers have become so popular with homeowners and professional landscapers. A traditional riding tractor is happy cruising along at around 3 to 5 miles per hour, while many zero-turns can reach roughly 7 to 13 miles per hour, depending on the model. And speed is only part of the appeal. A zero-turn can spin around its own axis, which means you can mow around trees, flower beds, fences, and other obstacles without constantly stopping to perform the traditional 3-point turn. That is a lot of maneuvering for a machine whose primary job is to bully grass into submission, instead of repeatedly reversing, steering, and correcting your position. You can simply adjust the two lap bars and glide around the obstacle. That is why, on large and relatively open properties, a zero-turn can finish the same mowing job considerably faster than a conventional riding mower. But all that speed and maneuverability are not coming from some magical lawn mowing technology. They come from something most people never think about while they are sitting in the seat: the hydrostatic drive system. And once you understand how that system works, the zero-turns party trick suddenly makes a lot more sense. A traditional riding tractor generally uses a steering wheel and a conventional drivetrain to control the machine. A zero-turn takes a completely different approach. Instead of using one transmission to drive both rear wheels, it uses two independent hydrostatic transaxles, with one controlling each drive wheel. That is why the two lap bars are so important. The left lap bar controls the left drive system, while the right lap bar controls the right. If you push both bars forward, they both drive wheels move forward together, pull both back, and the mower reverses. But here is where things get interesting. If you push one lap bar forward while pulling the other backward, the two drive wheels rotate in opposite directions. One side is moving forward, while the other is moving backward. So instead of making a wide turn, the mower pivots around its center. That is the entire secret behind the zero-turn. It is not that the front wheels somehow learn to steer like a Formula One car. The small casters at the front are free spinning wheels that simply follow the direction created by the rear drive wheels. The real maneuvering happens at the back, where those two independent hydrostatic systems are controlling each side of the mower separately. And that is what makes a zero-turn feel so different from a traditional riding tractor. You are not really steering the machine in the conventional sense. You are controlling the speed and direction of two separate drive systems and letting the mower figure out the rest. Which, in theory, sounds brilliant, and it is. Until you remember that those two hydrostatic systems are also responsible for moving a machine that can weigh hundreds of pounds at surprisingly high speeds. Because underneath all those lap bars and fancy maneuvering is a hydraulic system that has to generate, control, and dissipate a serious amount of power. And that is where maintenance becomes important. Now, the speed sounds great until you remember what is actually making the mower move. Those two hydrostatic transaxles are doing some serious work every time you push those lap bars. Inside them are precision components that depend on the right hydraulic fluid, proper lubrication, controlled pressure, and perhaps most importantly, effective cooling. Because heat is the enemy. When you spend hours mowing, those hydrostatic components generate heat as they transfer power to the drive wheels. That heat has to be carried away, which is why many systems use cooling fans. fins, and other methods to keep operating temperatures under control. Unfortunately, your zero turn spends its working life in the exact environment that is very good at making that job harder. Things like grass clippings, dust, dirt, and other debris can collect around the cooling areas and restrict airflow. So while you're happily mowing stripes into the lawn with your striping kit, the hydro underneath you may be quietly getting hotter and hotter. And this is where maintenance gets a little more complicated. Not every zero turn has the same hydrostatic setup. For example, Hydrogear's ZT1800 is described as a maintenance-free residential transaxle, while its ZT2800 and ZT3100 are serviceable designs with external oil filters and optional expansion tanks. So if somebody tells you, just change the hydraulic oil every 100 hours, do not automatically grab a drain pan. First, find out what is actually underneath your mower. And that is where the manufacturer's name on the hydrostatic unit can become useful. Hydrogear supplies transaxles across a wide range of zero-turn applications, including the EZT and larger ZT series units. Its own documentation lists separate service manuals for models such as the ZT2200, ZT2800, ZT3100, ZT3400, ZT4400, and ZT5400. In other words, two zero turns can look completely different on the outside and still have a hydrogear unit doing the heavy lifting underneath. So before you touch the hydraulic system, identify the actual transaxle and follow the service procedure for that specific unit. Because when it comes to hydraulic systems, guessing is not a maintenance strategy. It is an expensive hobby. Now let's say you actually did everything right. You identified your hydrostatic unit, checked the service requirements, used the correct fluid, even drained the old fluid, refilled the system, put everything back together, and stood there feeling pretty pleased with yourself, thinking this maintenance thingy is not even hard. Because, obviously, the best way to check whether you fix the hydraulic system is to immediately ask it to do the exact job you just finished working on. Except that trapped air can interfere with proper hydraulic operation, and under the wrong conditions it can contribute to cavitation, which can damage hydraulic components. You are not necessarily finished. You still have to make sure the hydraulic system is properly filled, the air has been purged, and the mower is ready to operate according to the procedure specified for that particular transaxle. Because that little test drive you were about to take, it may be the difference between saying, "Nice, everything works," and saying, "Well, that was an expensive afternoon." But why is a little bit of air inside the hydraulic system such a problem? After all, it is just air. Your mower has survived rain, dust, grass clippings, and probably at least one small branch that you definitely did not see coming. Surely a few air bubbles are not going to bring the whole operation down. Unfortunately, hydraulic systems do not share that optimism. When you open a hydrostatic system during servicing, air can enter the hydraulic circuit. If that air is not properly removed, the system is no longer operating with the solid column of hydraulic fluid it was designed to use. And that matters because hydraulic fluid is not just there to fill an empty space. It is what allows the pump to build and transmit hydraulic pressure, while also providing lubrication and carrying heat away from the working components. Air behaves very differently. It is compressible, while hydraulic fluid is effectively incompressible under normal operating conditions. So when air becomes trapped in the circuit, the system can become less efficient and less stable at transferring pressure. In severe cases, the conditions can contribute to cavitation, where low-pressure areas allow vapor bubbles to form and then collapse as the fluid moves through the system. And those collapsing bubbles are not exactly doing your precision hydraulic components any favors. Repeated cavitation can damage internal surfaces and contribute to premature wear, so the chain is actually pretty simple. If you open the hydraulic system, air gets in. The system is not completely filled with fluid. The pump starts working. Pressure transmission and lubrication are compromised. And under the wrong conditions, you can end up with cavitation and damage. Which brings us to the part where a perfectly reasonable person can accidentally make the situation much worse. The drive tires are now supporting the weight of the mower, so the hydrostatic units have to work against resistance immediately. That is very different from running the drive system, with the wheels safely suspended and allowing the hydraulic circuit to circulate fluid, while trapped air is worked out according to the manufacturer's procedure. But underneath you, the hydrostatic system may still be trying to sort out a problem you cannot see. And that is what makes this mistake so nasty. Sometimes the only warning is a strange whine, weak drive, or a mower that suddenly struggles to do something it normally handles without effort. And by the time you notice that, you may already have a problem worth taking seriously. So, how do you get the air out? First, do not assume there is one universal purge procedure for every zero turn, because there isn't. The exact process depends on the mower and the hydrostatic transaxle installed in it. So your owner's or service manual gets the final word. But the general idea is straightforward. You safely raise the drive wheels so they are completely off the ground, using equipment and supports appropriate for the mower. Then, if your machine has hydraulic bypass valves, you use them according to the manufacturer's instructions. With the engine running at the specified low idle, you slowly cycle the lap bars forward and backward, rather than immediately demanding full power from the system. The purpose is to circulate hydraulic fluid through the drive system, while allowing trapped air to work its way out. On systems equipped with an expansion reservoir, you can monitor the fluid according to the manufacturer's instructions as the air is purged. You continue the procedure until the drive system is operating smoothly and the hydraulic circuit has been properly purged. Only then should you put the mower back under normal load. And that last part is important. The goal of the purge is not to make the wheels spin while the mower is sitting on jacks. The goal is to make sure the hydrostatic system is properly filled and functioning before you ask it to push hundreds of pounds of mower across the lawn. So, if you ever have to open up the hydraulic system on your zero turn, resist the urge to immediately take it for a victory lap. The grass can wait. Your hydrostatic transmission would probably appreciate the 5 minutes. But what if you have already lowered the mower, pushed the lap bars forward, and thought, why does this thing sound like it is trying to take off? Well, if you've noticed the mower suddenly develops an unusual whining sound, struggles to move, loses drive power, or cannot handle an incline that it normally climbs without a problem, do not keep pushing the lap bars and hoping it will magically recover. Shut the engine off and stop operating the mower. Then go back to the manufacturer's procedure for checking and purging the hydrostatic system. If the system requires the drive wheels to be raised during the purge, safely lift and support the mower as specified and follow the complete procedure for that particular transaxle. Do not assume that because the mower moves again after purging, everything is automatically fine. If the whining, weak drive, or other symptoms continue, the system may have another problem that needs to be diagnosed. But underneath all that fun are 2 hydraulic drive systems that need proper maintenance and proper handling. So keep the cooling areas clear, use the correct fluid and service intervals when your hydro is serviceable. And whenever you open the hydraulic system, remember that the job is not finished just because the reservoir is full. You still have to get the air out, because your zero turn may drive like a sports car, but replacing a damaged hydrostatic transmission is a very expensive way to discover that you should have read the manual first. If you found at least one mistake you've been making, hit subscribe, because the next expensive tool you save might be sitting in your garage right now.